And my kids didn't deserve none of this. They did it, they're angels.
But you thought it was so bad that you needed to kill them?
Yeah.
Good evening. Why would a mother kill her own children? It's a question we've been asking since Amber Pastor was charged in the deaths of 6-year-old Renee Pastor and 7-year-old Liliana Hernandez.
And tonight our coverage continues in an exclusive jailhouse interview with Amber Pastor. It is difficult to see, it is difficult to hear, it is chilling, really. But perhaps it will get us a degree closer to understanding. But let's talk about that day. When did you start thinking that you wanted to send your kids to heaven, that you wanted to put them in what you call a better place?
That day. It just happened so fast. It just happened so fast.
Amber Pastor was a murderer on the run. She'd already killed her neighbor, Frank McCumber, in the woods off of Wallen Road.
I shot him.
You shot Frank?
Yeah.
Now she had his gun, his car, and her kids in the back seat. 7-year-old Liliana and 6-year-old Renee. Tell me about your children. Tell me about Renee and Liliana.
They're better off where they're at. I don't like talking about it.
But she did talk about it. For 40 minutes in a jailhouse interview, Amber Pastor recounted to me what happened that day. How she drove around aimlessly, and then sometime that afternoon, somewhere on the road in Elkhart County, she heard it on the radio.
We begin with breaking news at noon. The Allen County Sheriff's Department has issued an Amber Alert for 2 missing children.
When I heard there was an Amber Alert of my kids missing, and they're with me, and that I'm very dangerous, what I heard on the radio, that's when I went right to Elkhart, and that's when I killed my kids.
Why did the Amber Alert lead you to kill your kids then?
Because I knew the police was going to get us. And what, me be behind bars and then my kids out here with my problems? No, I'm sorry, no. I'm not that selfish, I'm sorry. I'm not a coward.
For reasons Pastor refuses to explain, she thought someone was after her kids, and certain she was going to prison for killing Frank McCumber, she wouldn't be able to protect them anymore. She turned to those little faces and told them to decide.
I gave them a choice.
What'd you say to them?
That they can live traumatized like their mom, or they can go to heaven and with God to be better off.
And they chose to go to heaven?
Yes.
There was that gun in the car, but she says she couldn't bring herself to shoot them. So she put her hands over their mouths, sealed off their breath, and stole their lives. What was the last thing that you said to Liliana before you smothered her?
Did I love her? And I told her this is the easiest way out.
What did you say to Renee?
I told Renee, because I told him if he don't go, if he don't work with me on doing it, then I'm not going to do it again. I'm taking him back home.
And then he let you smother him?
Yes.
With her kids dead by her own hand in the back seat of the car, she started driving again, north across the border into Michigan. She threw the gun into a river unknown, turned around, and went back to Elkhart.
I grabbed the keys out of the ignition. I seen the cop. I said, "Sir, I'm the Amber Alert. My kids are dead. I killed them."
Why'd you go to the police station?
Because I knew what I did, and I knew I was wrong.
She says she's sorry for what she did.
I'm really sorry. I'm sorry, okay?
What are you sorry for, Amber?
My life.
Are you sorry because you're in jail, or are you sorry because you killed your kids?
Sorry because I killed my kids. I don't care if I spend the rest of my life in here. It was for a good reason.
Do you really think that it was fair that you would make the decision for them, that you would take their lives? Is that really fair Shouldn't they be allowed to live and grow in this world and determine what they're going to be later on in life themselves?
No. I'm their mom. I know what's best for my kids. I know my past, and I know what I've been through, and I know all these years I've been traumatized, and I can't expect them to grow up and not be traumatized and messed up in the head like I am.
From the jail in Elkhart, Indiana, Amber Pastor confessed to it all. Frank McCumber, Liliana, Renee.
Bye.
And then she walked away, leaving that lingering question never fully explained. Why? Pastor said that she was not on drugs when this all happened. She had a clear mind. And you can see the entire interview right now at WANE.com.
In the month of October, 4 teens in our area took their own lives. 4 young men from 4 different counties decided they couldn't go on.
Teen suicide is a real and heartbreaking problem in Northeast Indiana and Northwest Ohio. And today, one of those teens was laid to rest in Kendallville. This is Jacob's story.
I look back and I question. I mean, I've ran it back through my mind so many times.
On an unusually warm November day in front of the house that was home to his youngest child.
The kids have come by and put things up and have written notes to him.
Bob Becker sat down to talk about Jacob.
He had his life ahead of him. He just turned 16.
But Jacob Becker was troubled at times, depression, family issues, and...
I don't know how often. I do not know how bad it got. But I do know he was being bullied.
October 27th, just after 6 o'clock, Bob Becker got a call at work. Family emergency, come home right away. It's a 20-minute drive. And along the way...
And I see an EMS coming down the road. And I just had this overwhelming feeling that it wasn't good.
It wasn't good at all. Jacob was inside. EMTs working to save his life. Bob had unknowingly passed by his son, who had passed on.
When the doctor come out to talk to us, his first words were, "I'm so sorry." The words you never, ever want to hear being a parent.
A sophomore who dreamt of one day being a cop, who loved Eminem, Ryan Newman, and video games, had taken his big brother's handgun into his second-story room and decided not to try anymore.
He had shot himself in the head.
He left behind a modern-day suicide note, an Instagram post. Hey everyone, it said, I know a lot of people are going to end up finding this really selfish, but to be honest, I
can't live like this anymore. I am tired of everything. I am tired of the way I'm treated. I am tired of everything wrong I keep doing. I feel like this is best for everyone. I'm going to miss a lot of people. I'm sorry, everyone. Goodbye. It's been a great life getting to know you all.
Please don't, one friend wrote. Don't do this, pled another. But even here, on his final goodbye, a calloused, cruel response. Later, alligator. And another giving a sarcastic, drawn-out no. Where do you lay the blame for your son's death?
It's spread out over such a wide area right this moment. I don't know if it was the bullying that pushed him over the edge. I don't know if it was the depression that pushed him over the edge. I don't know.
If only Jacob had known how many cared for him. The day after he died, they lit candles and braved the cold for their friend. On Monday, they filled the gymnasium at East Noble High in the shape of a heart. And then, at his funeral, they stood for him, cried for him, and asked, what could they have done for him? The same pain felt beyond Kendallville. In less than a month, 4 boys in our area, 4, have all died by suicide. a 13-year-old in Columbia City on October 2nd, a 17-year-old in LaGrange on October 21st, an 18-year-old in Bryan, Ohio, the next day, the 22nd, and then Jacob.
This is preventable. We, as a society, have to open up and guide our children better.
Was that what you hope, is that some good will come out of this?
It's what any parent would ever hope, is that no more young children die this way. They don't have to.
There are still so many questions, and Bob knows he may never truly understand, but he says he will always have his memories of his youngest child who will never grow old, the good and the last.
He gave me a semi-hug, told me he loved me. I told him I loved him, and try to have a good day. And I watched him walk down the sidewalk, heading to school. And that was the final time I seen my son.
An account has been set up in Jacob's name to help with funeral costs and suicide prevention. You can donate at any ProFed federal credit union. And join us tonight at 11 o'clock. We're talking to the experts. We'll give you the tools that you need to break through the barriers that our teens often put up. In Paulding County, 7 homes and 5 barns were damaged, but nobody was hurt. And tonight, the emergency manager says that's all because of a mom's split-second decision that saved her family's lives.
This cement slab right here was our garage.
It's gone.
It was 400 yards wide and strong enough to end the dream.
Why'd you move here?
For the peace and quiet.
Well, that certainly was shattered, wasn't it?
It was.
18 months ago, Jessie Logan and her family left the city for the country. The Green Acres plan on 5 acres in the heart of Paulding County. So remote, they joked, once you're lost, you're almost there. But near the end of its 4-mile romp, a tornado zeroed in.
The one wall, that wall right there is the wall that my son looked out that window and spotted the tornado in the backyard.
And that's when all hell broke loose.
Yes.
And Jessie led her family to the only place she felt safe, bet their lives on a bathroom.
My daughter hopped into the bathtub. My son crouched down here, and I crouched down next to him, and I kept yelling, head down, head down.
Outside, the twister twisted metal in the trees broke the barn.
I could feel the suction. I mean, I was scared.
Pulled apart the house.
Then the roof sucked up, and then it was quiet. I pushed the drywall off and opened this door.
And looked down at what wasn't.
You never dreamed something like this is ever going to happen to you.
A day later, still shocked. Dinner still sitting on the table. They say that tornado was on the ground for all of 8 minutes. The starting over will be measured in months.
There's nowhere to go but up from here, I guess.
A bit of uncertain optimism from a mom who gathered her family in a bathroom and certainly saved their lives.
The home was covered by insurance. The Red Cross and some very kind neighbors are helping out. Jessie and her husband plan to stay and start over, but she'll never look at the skies the same again.